City volunteers in Texas hold a distribution in the aftermath of Hurricane Laura. City volunteers in Fujian visit families in need ahead of sending love in the winter. Welcome to the Headlines. I'm Siri Su. Thank you for joining us. At the end of August and the beginning of September, Hurricane Laura devastated Louisiana and Texas. After the disaster, many people still did not receive proper help. Tzu Chi Texas chapter sent 17 volunteers to a small town to hold a drive-through distribution.
Tzu Chi volunteers started from Houston and driving 2 hours to a town called Deweyville. During the journey, the truck holding the supplies had a flat tire, as the driver immediately swapped for a new tire. When the volunteers arrived at the distribution venue, a long line awaits. With the local government's cooperation, the distribution is at a high school's parking lot, and the method of distribution is a drive-through style.
It's a stress relief off of me. I don't have to worry about bills, food on the table, clothes. We lost a lot of things, and it's like we done went through 2 hurricanes, Hurricane Harvey, now Hurricane Laura. And my thing is, I'm thankful, I'm blessed, I'm grateful. You all helped me and my family out tremendously, and I'm so thankful for you all.
That's nice that an organization seeks out somebody that's really in need of help.
Not only the firefighter captain gave support, the residents nearby also came in to support volunteers.
I was doing whatever I could to help them get resources to help recover from Hurricane Laura, because I feel like anything more than what you have will help you out.
The supply came just in time as people were happy receiving the love, marking a memory of kindness amongst everyone.
The Bobcat fire in Southern California started in August, and now it's already been a month. 6,400 buildings were burned down, and thousands of residents were forced to leave their homes, staying in shelters. Recently, some of them are moving out, so the American Red Cross sought help from city volunteers. Volunteers distributed cash cards, blankets, and Jingsi instant rice.
在路上呢，我们也看到许多这个烧焦的房子，这种情况真的是很令人感到非常的不舍。也希望说能够尽一点的这个心意，能够帮忙他们早一点能够站起来。
The Bobcat fire went on for another month in Southern California as it damages 400 square kilometers of land. Although 75% of the fire is under control, the nearby households are completely destroyed.
I built a tiny house. I needed to stay off the grid, but it burned, and Tzu Chi helped me, so thank you so much.
After the wildfires, Tzu Chi U.S. headquarters initiated several waves of emergency assistance. Recently, this distribution occurred due to an invitation from the American Red Cross, giving supplies to the residents moving out from the shelter.
Foundation gave me a blanket. I got rice. They provided me with $600, which I was very, very appreciative about because I did not expect that. And I'm very grateful for that, and I do plan on returning the favor out to anybody else out there who needs help.
We really appreciate all of the help, and we will in some time in the future we will return the favor, and we will help other people as well.
The affected residents were at first cautious about Tzu Chi volunteers, but we took it slowly and introduced the origins of Tzu Chi from the bamboo coin bank to the eco-friendly blanket to them. After this, some residents burst into tears.
It might be tough to rebuild homes that are in ashes, but Tzu Chi volunteers promise to accompany the affected residents until they rebuild their community.
Due to the pandemic, the life of many people in the U.S. have been very difficult. Washington City volunteers carry out food distribution since September. More recently, they even prepared flu shots for the people who came to the distribution.
The doctors are fully equipped with PPE clothing and face shields, preparing to carry out flu vaccination for the public.
COVID-19.
During the pandemic, if a person catches the COVID and flu at the same time, it will be very dangerous, so we encourage everyone to get their flu shot first.
Due to the pandemic, schools have not reopened yet. As we are hosting food distribution here, so we want to seize this opportunity to help people get their flu shots as well.
It is the second time for Tzu Chi volunteers to carry out food distribution in Washington, D.C. As the pandemic is still ongoing, volunteers provided free flu vaccines for the families in need.
More than half of the people who turned up today also came last month. Due to the pandemic, there are many families who still need aid.
Put the quarter in every single day, and then once you get full, and then you can return back to this location, and then also you can join our event.
Volunteers took the opportunity to promote the bamboo coin bank and also saw some care recipients pay back.
Well, we just found a bunch of coins, because we have a big jar, and then we just put some in here.
Okay, thank you for everything.
Yeah.
I happy for everything.
Fighting the pandemic is the goal of our people. In times like this, we can truly see the warmth of society.
In Sri Lanka, Tzu Chi conducted a large-scale distribution for impoverished families in Hambantota. Due to the impact of COVID-19, the event was postponed from April to mid-September.
Tzu Chi's annual large-scale distribution in Hambantota was finally held. 2,711 low-income households were helped in 4 days.
This is a great support to elderly people. After COVID-19 epidemic, there are lots of people facing financial difficulties, so this is great help for them. I would like to pay my gratitude to Master Zheng Yan for giving this support to our people. Wish long life to Master.
The attendees also learned from the footage that everything is difficult under the epidemic, but Tzu Chi volunteers will always be there for them.
We receive great help from Tzu Chi. It helps us and makes us happy. We wish Master good health and longevity.
With the vouchers, the residents can go to the supermarket to shop and buy what they need to get through the difficulties.
Tzu Chi volunteers have been carrying out Tzu Chi's missions in South Africa for 28 years. In the beginning, it was a liaison office. Later, it turned to Tzu Chi South Africa chapter. Now, Tzu Chi is building a Jingsi Hall. In the future, it will be the first Jingsi Hall in Africa.
我们历经了在联络处，然后现在在南非分会，那之后呢，也非常感恩我们要迎接我们静思堂的到来。
In Johannesburg, South Africa, Tzu Chi once used a small house. Then in 2010, it moved to the current office. In the building, there are multifunctional uses. This year, due to the pandemic, Tzu Chi South Africa chapter became the collecting place for aid supplies. Amidst the Buddhist chanting, 3 Buddha statues are being moved. The original location will be turned to a Jingsi Hall. The Buddha statues are placed in a new Buddha Hall. The volunteers carry out prostrating pilgrimage, participated by senior volunteer Zhang Minghui.
A good beginning marks half of our success.
In the prostrating pilgrimage, I hope our disassembling process and our construction will be smooth.
South Africa Jingsi Hall is expected to be completed in 1.5 years. Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to reach out to the needy and spread Tzu Chi's principles. To prepare for sending love in winter, volunteers in Fujian have gathered in Zhengou City to visit needy families. There used to be no Tzu Chi volunteers in this place, but recently driven by local business people that have carried out charity missions in local villages.
After nightfall, there were no street lights in the countryside. Tzu Chi volunteers rely on the faint headlights of the car to visit the families in need. The single father, Zhu Chun Gui, raised 2 young children alone, and the youngest son has rackets. Volunteers empathized with the skinny body of the child and specially gave them nutritional supplements.
你儿子这样子哈，就是我们有这个五谷粉哈，你泡给他喝，知道吧？可以泡给他喝，对身体也是有好处的。
Volunteers explained their intentions of visiting and also sent out caring advice, hoping that this young father would get rid of the bad habits of the past.
你不用担心，我们有这么多力量一起努力，但是你要做出来给我们看，说你真的没有在赌博，然后很照顾这个孩子，很用心，那我们才会跟你这么远，我们都来啦。所以你要自己对自己也有信心，我们一起来帮忙，好不好？
Volunteers spent several hours traveling from other cities in Fujian to Jiang'ou City, so of course they had to make good use of their time. They have visited more than 100 families in 2 towns within 2 days.
We also want to do our best to offer our greatest help to those impoverished people and those who are in difficulties. Your arrival has enhanced our strength.
We also have a group called Chunshui Foundation. Actually, we have helped many people in the past, but in fact, what we did was very simple. If the villagers have difficulties, we try to understand their situation and give them subsidies. This time I came over here and I've been inspired a lot. What Tzu Chi did is really very professional.
With volunteers' help and the efforts of local business people, the power of mutual assistance is shining the light of love in the countryside.
In Malaysia, city volunteer UBQ runs a food factory. To reduce carbon emission, she implements many environmental protection practices at her company, such as using solar panels, doing recycling, and going meatless on Mondays. She also shares her experience with other entrepreneurs.
To achieve zero waste, at the board meeting, this company provides reusable cups instead of bottled water and serves desserts on banana leaves.
I told them not to provide bottled water and the food should not be served on plates. Please, there are a lot of banana leaves. If you don't need to wash the plates, you don't use detergent and water. I am protecting the environment.
In fact, I think she's being very mindfully. Our determination is not as firm as hers. So sometimes out of convenience, we'll use plastic cups and other products. We do not do a good job like she does.
Tzu Chi volunteer Yo Bi-gu seizes the opportunity to share her factory environmental concepts with 14 entrepreneurs. Her company collects rainwater, uses solar panels, sorts recyclables, and goes meatless on Mondays.
All in all, reducing carbon emission is my goal. I do not care about how much energy I've saved. I simply do my best. We've overused the resources in the society, and we've depleted resources for our future generations.
Yo Bi-gu's company has installed solar panels since 2017, reducing 500 kilograms of carbon emissions in a day. This year, the company has participated in the UN Industrial Developmental Organization, promoting Malacca's Smart Grid demonstration project.
We have contributed in reducing carbon emissions. As I use hot water, I've saved much energy. I save water, electricity, manpower, and detergent. It is making a large impact.
As entrepreneurs shoulder the responsibility to protect the environment, they can inspire members of the public and contribute to society.
Tzu Chi volunteers in Fujian, New Taipei City, were invited to hold a Going Vegetarian and Reducing Plastic to Save the Earth event. This time, traditional Taiwanese opera incorporated environmental issues into performances.
The traditional Taiwanese opera is not performing familiar classical stories, but
the first one is to protect sentient beings, and the second is to reduce plastic, followed by protecting the environment. It is everyone's responsibility to care for the earth, so we want to encourage everyone to practice together with this opera.
I've been very concerned about environmental issues since I was young. Our family is also particularly energy saving and carbon reducing. So for me, I think it's very meaningful to have the chance to participate in this kind of benefit performance so as to promote environmental concepts.
To promote vegetarianism and environmental protection, Tzu Chi volunteers went deep into the community and held the Going Vegetarian and Reducing Plastic to Save the Earth in the Pandemic activity, which received strong support by the borough chief.
This time, through the traditional Chinese opera performance, we can promote the concept of environmental protection. This correct concept must be known to many people. We must also put it into actions to save the earth to get the actual effect.
This activity is very meaningful as it promotes vegetarianism and plastics reduction to protect the earth. I'm also turning to have a vegetarian diet gradually.
Doing in line with the cause, the thought of going meatless should not be born in the heart only, but should also be widely promoted.
In Yunlin, Tzu Chi volunteer Cai Qiuxiang is 75 years old. She collects recyclables in the community and does recycling joyfully. She also practices environmental concepts in daily life by watering vegetables with rainwater and cleaning with enzymes.
Pulling the cart while going back and forth in the community, she does not take breaks.
I've come to this household which sells vegetables.
Many neighbors invite her to collect recyclables.
I tell them these are treasure, don't throw them away. We should recycle the recyclables.
Cai Qiuxiang is glad to share her concept of purity at its source.
For instance, after drinking soybean milk, you can add some water to the cup and drink it. You can also rinse the cup with water. This is better for the environment.
Cai Qiuxiang has dedicated her time to do recycling for more than 10 years. However, she got into an accident 3 years ago, injuring her collarbone and tailbone. She has done rehabilitation diligently so she can volunteer again.
I could not get out of the bed. I was bedridden for about half a year. During that time, I continued to do rehabilitation. I did it by myself.
It does not matter how much she does, as long as she can do it. She's volunteering joyfully. This way, she has a commitment.
After realizing life is impermanent since the car accident, she works even more diligently. She volunteers at the hospital every month, which helps her grow spiritually. In daily life, Cai Qiuxiang practices environmental protection concepts. She waters vegetables with rainwater and does dishes with enzymes. She is taking actions to protect the environment.
Tzu Chi celebrates the 30th anniversary of recycling mission. Today we take a look at Henchun Recycling Station. Since 1996, recycling volunteers in Henchun have increased to 50-some people from 10 people. Although they're mostly elderly volunteers, they still carry out recycling work diligently. At the southernmost part of Taiwan, we have come to Henchun to introduce Henchun Recycling Education Station to you. 78-year-old Yao Xiumei has been doing recycling diligently for more than 20 years.
Since the recycling station was established in Henchun, I started volunteering. I insist on doing recycling because it is a good deed. Doing good deeds benefits us.
62-year-old Dong Lingjun, who drives a van, lives in Xinyuan. She returns to her parents' home in Henchun every week and collects recyclables along the way.
I came in contact with recycling in 1993. Now that I've retired, I volunteer at the recycling station. In Xinyuan, I go to recycling station almost every day.
Volunteers in Henchun started doing recycling as early as 1996. They were forced to move several times. Then in 2007, volunteer Guo Qiumu provided 2,000 square meter land for free, and Henchun Recycling Education Station was established.
In the beginning, we borrowed venues to do recycling and we were forced to move very often. We've moved 4 times. Guo Qiumu has this piece of land and he decided to let us use it.
Volunteers in Fujian really come to the recycling station. They help with recycling plastic bags at the recycling station.
The elderly volunteers in Fujian did recycling in the past. Now that they are old, they cannot come to our recycling station. We bring plastic bags to their homes and then they can help process the plastic bags during their spare time.
We are old and we cannot do outside work. Helping recycle plastic bags is a way to serve our earth.
57-year-old Peng Xianghui has retired at age 50. She now dedicates herself to recycling in Henchun.
Our recycling range is very big. We can go all the way to Mudan, Shimen, and Menzhou. I work with another Tzu Chi sisters to collect recyclables from 6 to 7 recycling points in Henchun.
Women work like men and men are like Superman. In the past, we had a box here for recycling purpose.
在恒春就是像这样子，有很多的小点，是不是？
对，这种小点餐，因为有的点是固定时间，有的点是不固定时间。
After unloading the recyclables, we sort them here. At 1 or 2 p.m. in summer, we do it at the grandma's place.
For the women in the community, they sort recyclables in front of the house door.
Saving the earth is better than saving anything else.
PET bottles can be made into blankets and cloth, which are used in disaster relief work.
While recycling volunteers in Henchun are mostly seniors, they're willing to dedicate their efforts to safeguard the community for more than 20 years. In Yunlin, city volunteer Huang Xiuling began to help children with special needs trim their hair since 15 years ago. She then invited more hairstylists to join her.
To help this group of kids with special needs get a haircut, one must be very skillful. The children are unable to sit still and they will continue to move around. Volunteers try their best to distract the kids, while the hairstylists must be quick with their scissors.
Some children have autism. They're very sensitive to sounds or touch, so they don't like to have their hair cut.
This act of love has been going for 15 years now. She volunteer Huang Xiuling, who once owns a hair salon, knows that helping kids with special needs trim their hair is not an easy task. She then invited other hairstylists in Yunlin to join in on providing free haircuts for these children.
This is what the master means when she reminds us to count our blessings. The hairstylists feel fortunate and then influence others to join this cause.
They'll be happy when they see that they look handsome after the haircut. I'll talk to them with patience, telling them that if they behave, I'll cut their hair really well.
To have a pure and kind heart, I can see from the smiles that they are really pure and they are sincere in their expressions.
To be able to let these kids have a nice and proper appearance, that is our main objective.
The haircut is held once every 2 months. After the haircut, the children feel refreshed. The smiles on their faces are the best gift for the hairstylists and the volunteers.
Through cloud technology, U.S. TIMA members participated in TIMA convention without having to travel to Taiwan. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for joining us. Goodbye.